The academy now is pretty much like a second home because I've been here for about half my life now.
I was a kid, I didn't really have many life skills, I didn't really have much maturity, and I think now it's grown me as a person and as a boy from a man.
I learned a lot. I learned like the fundamentals of this club, taught me the history of the club as well. I think that plays a massive part going into the first team.
Who are you? Come on!
I first got involved in Wimbledon's academy back in 2008, and the reason being is because I was a young coach working at another professional club at the time, and I kind of realised very early on that if I'm going to have a chance of progressing in this very tough industry, that I'm going to have experience with the older boys. So I spoke to the club and I offered my time for free, so I volunteered initially as long as I could work within the older age groups. At the time the academy or the club wasn't an academy, it was a large grassroots setup, and they were just getting ready for academy programme. So I came in before it was an academy. My first role was with Mark Robinson, assisting him with the under-18s. And I've been here ever since really and done almost every role in the academy. Okay, here we have the Academy Management Office. And here we have Deji and Ben. Deji, do you want to introduce yourself?
Morning, my name is Deji. I'm the Academy Administrator in the Academy. I deal with most things operational and obviously in regards to administration.
How you doing? My name is Ben Fossahini. I'm the Head of Talent ID for the Academy. I oversee the recruitment for 9-year-olds up to 18, and we cover most of London, Surrey, Sussex.
And then Michael, it's obviously a match day today, the under-18s are playing Bromley. What sort of meeting do you guys have in here before you go and speak to the rest of the staff next door?
To be honest, there'll be no real meeting this morning. Most of the meetings have been done. Deji just probably tidying up bits and pieces regarding refs and officials and other bits to make sure the game goes smoothly. But in terms of pre-game meeting, there probably won't be any.
Excellent. And then how often do you play down at KCL? Is it sometimes twice a week, depending on the fixtures? And is it all regionalised, the league that the under-18s are in?
This season, no. Normally it is regionalised, but this season they've opened the leagues up. We're probably down here on average at least once every other week, and some weeks 2-3 times a week. Today's Bromley, as you've mentioned, so it's a league game, and we've got about 8-9 games left of the season. We're still in a couple of competitions, which is quite exciting. So yeah, we could be home, could be away, depends what day you catch us.
And do you feel like the standards of the leagues have improved since we first set up the academy?
Definitely, yeah. 100%. You've got new clubs that have entered the programme. You've got some clubs who have gone up categories and stuff. So things are forever changing. But in terms of the standard and the ability of everyone, yeah, it's definitely gone up.
And then for you guys, Deji and Ben, what's the most enjoyable thing about working for Wimbledon's academy? What's the most rewarding aspect to your jobs?
For me personally, it's more getting to know the players and seeing them graduate. So I often talk about Morgan Williams. Morgan Williams, obviously an academy player. I saw him go through the levels, and obviously seeing him play against Chelsea and put in such a great performance. Those are the type of things I really enjoy about the job.
And Ben?
It's generally recruiting a player that goes through the age groups, and hopefully the plan is to represent the first team. But in many cases we don't achieve that, where players will move on to other clubs and some Premier League clubs. So it's about finding a player that embodies our Wimbledon culture and actually progresses through, whether they become a pro somewhere else or a pro with us. So yeah, that's the main thing that really pleases myself.
The academy now is pretty much like a second home because I've been here for about half my life now, the last 10 years. So it's pretty much all I've known in terms of when I have any football memories, it's all linked to this club and the academy. So it's pretty much everything football to me now. When I joined, I was only 10, so pretty much everything that I've developed as a player and as a person has all come through this club. For the last about 4 years, it's basically been where I've been coming every day. The group and the coaches have pretty much helped mould me into the footballer and person I am today.
Okay, and here's the main academy office, which is quite busy today, ahead of the game against Bromley. quite a few people in here. I'm going to let them introduce themselves. Start with Scott, who's looking very excited about the camera.
Cheers. I'm Scott, youth phase development manager. So basically I oversee the 15s and 16s and scholars that will move into Simon Clark's 18 squad.
Ronan?
I'm Ronan Gay. I'm the physical performance coach for the under-18s. It's my job to design and implement sessions on the pitch and off the pitch to support their athletic development across their scholarship.
Hello, I am the goalkeeper coach for the academy.
Hi there, I'm Ben Ewan, the mid-phase manager for the academy, just overseeing the transition of the 12 to 14s programme with players moving from the foundation phase and then up into the youth phase.
Hello, my name's Simon Clark. I'm the under-18s gaffer, PDP lead coach.
Excellent. Simon, just tell us about the style of play of the under-18s. Is there certain elements from the first team that you'll put into your philosophies of how the lads play so that they're ready to go up to the senior level?
Yeah, absolutely. When it's on and when we can do it under control, we want to get the ball forward, but under control if we can. We press hard. We want the ball back as we can in a line with the Wimbledon way. And we want to dominate possession, which I think we're averaging about 60.8% possession. And you often see that with the first team, that they're up in those numbers. So yeah, we're very aligned in that way.
And from your own personal point of view, obviously you're a player yourself. How's that sort of process of going through the academy stages to getting into the first team changed since you were a player?
There's much more detail. So I've spoke with them. We had a great win at Northampton away, and the gaffer rang me on the Friday night. They was in Carlisle, and he just spoke about how we had 8 boys go over and train with them on Friday, and he just said the lads were fantastic and the importance of their endeavour, their work rate, how they listen, when they go over with the pros is massive. And I just played it back to the guys and said, look, he doesn't speak about talent once here. What he speaks about is your attitude to work, your attitude to listen and understand what you want to set up and put the pros through, because we lined up as Carlisle. And I said that, that's what we look for initially. Talent's great and it'll get you here, but it's your work rate, your energy, how you listen, how you perform that will keep you in the building. And after a 5-1 win away at Northampton, I've said exactly that today. It's all about hitting those markers, and then obviously we want the talent to come through, which I'm sure it will today.
Absolutely. Scott, just wanted to ask you, obviously I know you're a Wimbledon fan as well.
Yeah.
So when you were growing up, there would have been a lot of lads coming through the academy as it was then when we were Wimbledon FC. Is that something that sort of inspired you to get into youth football yourself?
Well, I started coaching a long time ago. Yeah, I think I've always had a passion for football development. But yeah, seeing young players get all the way through the first team always, I think the rest of the guys will say the same thing. Gives you a bit of satisfaction that you've put a little bit into that player. So yeah, just inspired to get into coaching, and lucky enough now to work for the club you support. Yeah, it's a good thing.
And Borja, obviously you played football in Spain. What have you learned about Wimbledon since you've been involved?
Well, obviously academy football is different in Spain and here. But I would say that the standards are quite good, so it's quite similar in that sense. And they allow players to express themselves.
And did you find the playing style very different to Spanish football in English academy football?
No, at the moment. Before, yes, and now it's the gap is getting closer. So it's more now technical. It's a lot of quick transitions. It's not long ball anymore. So yeah, it's getting there.
What was really exciting when I first came was it was a blank canvas almost, and we were designing it and building it from scratch. And the biggest thing I learned is people make things happen. You go to a lot of academies and a lot of clubs and they've got great facilities and great resources, and it's not something we have the riches of. But what we do have is a lot of character, a lot of culture, and a lot of people say they do what they do but they don't do it. We're very much action based, and yeah, we don't use any of our lack of anything as an excuse. In fact, we try and spin it into a positive, because what we value and what we feel the boys benefit from is being an underdog, working with less, but maximising your potential and ability. And it's something that, you know, not only represents the badge, but it's something that, you know, without, we're not us. And we're just down here in the dressing rooms, and we're just going to go and see the boys prepared before the game against Bromley. They're currently split between 2 dressing rooms. Here's one. Boys, you okay?
Yeah, so Sam, how's the season gone so far, mate?
Yeah, it's gone good. We started off really well. We had a little drop off, but yeah, now I'd say it's about maximising the points so we have for the rest of the season.
And how long have you been at Wimbledon for?
I joined in the under 15 season, so yeah.
And also, how have you found working with the gaffer, Simon Clark?
Yeah, it's been good. Yeah, I really enjoy working under him. He's a great coach, and yeah, I feel like I've really improved under him. Yeah.
Slightly smaller dressing room. Right, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good. Good. You know, we're the second years at the minute, just getting ready for the game.
Nice one. So Riley, it's been quite a big season for yourself. Is this your first season captaining the under-18s?
Well, my first main season, yeah, definitely. But yes, last season was the first year I dabbled in a bit of captaincy between me, myself, and Leah Young, which was good for me, and I'm just taking it into this year as well.
Obviously, I know you were on the bench for the senior side this season. How did you find that experience?
Yeah, brilliant. It was a really brilliant experience. You can't really match anything like it. The difference between just a normal 18s match day compared to the seniors is just such a huge difference, and being in and around it is just really good to do.
And how do you think the academy's improved you, not just as a footballer but also as a person as well? Like, what age were you when you first joined?
I was around 14 when I joined, end of 14, start of 15s, and yeah, no, it's just important not to just be a footballer, because everything's more than just that. We've got to make good people here, and I think Wimbledon do a really great job of that.
And what's the most enjoyable thing about playing for Wimbledon?
Playing for Wimbledon, I think for me personally, being like a Wimbledon boy, being brought up here in Wimbledon, living here all my life, to me it's a really proud moment to go out and play for my team.
When you come to the academy, we used to play teams like Northampton, teams like that. They were quite physical, so it also taught me how to be disciplined and just like work my way around the physical side of the game. As a person, I felt like it embraced my discipline in terms of like off the pitch, because we used to do a lot of jobs, so we were humbled quite early as players. We used to do a lot of jobs, clean the first team boots, clean the change rooms, the gym. So I feel like that does humble you, to be fair, a lot as a player, going into the first team and just rising up yourself.
We don't play Saturday, no matter. Tuesday comes around, we go again. We put foot to the pedal. We're not side-said, we don't step off. We go harder and harder and harder to help each other out, move the ball, a bit of a dry pitch. We can still play, lads, we can still play, especially against these lot, alright? So when we go out there, we start sharp and say, come on then, let's
Players going into the first team is what we're here for. You know, ultimately, you know, every academy in the country has the vision of, you know, wanting to develop better people and making sure they get holistic development and personal development and other bits and pieces. But fundamentally, we're here to produce footballers, hopefully, for the club. You know, so when you get the likes of Isaac Ogundear and Aaron Sassu, you know, they've been 2 key features for the season. You know, that's what brings it all to fruition. You know, and we've got a lot of potential, I say, in the academy as it stands, and there's a few players that we have high hopes for in the future, but all it is potential. You know, we as a club and as an academy try and create the pathway, but it's down to them to put in the hard yards and try and fulfil their potential, because, you know, the moment you take a step back or the moment you stand still, someone's going to overtake you, and that's kind of like the message we got for all the boys. So yeah, when someone goes into the first team or beyond, you know, it's great. It's great for the young boys to see that as well, because it gives them a bit of a carrot and a bit of a target. And what I will say is, us being on top of the first team, you know, in the same building, in the same environment, is great, because the young players get to see it and smell it, and, you know, they get to know it's within touch and distance if they want to do the hard work.
If you probably looked at me, out of all the under-18s, when I was there, you would have probably thought he wouldn't probably still be here, or there would be other lads in front of me that would still be here. I think that it's not about that. I think it's about just sticking at it, working hard, especially coming here, grab it with 2 hands really. I think they just need to show what you're about early, and then to the lads now in the academy, coming up to the under-18s and wanting to be in the first team, just keep working hard. As I said, I think you never know what's going to happen, and just keep on working hard, keep on trying to achieve your goals.